One nuclear weapon.
Hello and welcome to Global Update. This is that program that keeps you abreast of happenings from around the world in the course of the week under review. It is also your trusted source for the latest developments shaping our world. And on today's episode, we'll take a look at two critical issues affecting Africa's progress and public health. First is the recent Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, that is Focac, where African leaders and their Chinese counterparts discussed new strategies for economic growth and development partnerships, with emphasis on infrastructure, investment, and capacity building. Focac continues to be a vital platform for advancing Africa's long-term aspirations. I have the Director of Contemporary China-Africa Research in Nigeria to do justice on that. Then we shift focus to the alarming resurgence of Mpox in Nigeria and other parts of Africa, where the Nigerian Infectious Diseases Society, NIDS, raised serious concerns over the rapid spread of this viral disease, calling for urgent measures to protect public health. The president of NIDS will break down their observations, concerns, and recommendations in a few minutes from now. So I will urge you to stay tight and be with me in the next half an hour. I am Patricia Esemiluba. It's always a pleasure to have you on the program Global Update. Let's begin with highlights from the Focac, where President Bola Tinubu emphasized that Africa offers immense potential for investment, growth, and development owing to its dynamic population, productivity economy, and abundant natural resources. President Tinubu commended the efforts of the body for strengthening ties between Africa and China, fostering mutual growth and prosperity. He reiterated that Africa's engagement with Focac is rooted in mutual respect and a partnership focused on promoting development, peace, and stability for the people of both regions. Now, President Tinubu urged a focused approach on collaboration to ensure the partnership remains beneficial for both sides. He underscored Africa's readiness to work towards economic progress through cooperative efforts. I have Professor Sherif Gali Ibrahim, the head of Department Political Science and International Relations, University of Abuja. He is also the Director of Contemporary China-Africa Research in Nigeria. He is going to speak to us on issues that were tabled at the forum in Beijing. Now, let's start by getting to understand what the key objectives are and how those the objectives aimed to enhance the partnership between the two regions.
The major objective of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation is to reinvigorate intercontinentalism. Intercontinentalism in the sense that we're having the continent of Africa as well as the People's Republic of China representing the entire continent of Asia. Remember that China is the most populous country in Asia and is the second largest economy in the world. So the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, established in the year 2000, was actually meant to pave ways for development cooperation between countries of Africa and the People's Republic of China. Knowing fully that China is rapidly advancing experiencing or recording more growth in its economy, as well as in the scientific sector, as well as industry, manufacturing. China needs more partners in the world. And it discovered that through its project of the Belt and Road Initiative, in which Africa was initially partially represented, but later the People's Republic of China come to understand that Africa is a potential continent where the Belt and Road Initiative should actually give more priority because Africa has infrastructure deficit. So to bridge up this particular infrastructure deficit, Africa is a key area that China should actually hold so closely to invest.
Prof, how is the forum addressing the challenges and opportunities presented by the recent global ethnic shifts for both China and Africa?
The Forum on China-Africa Cooperation has several ways of dealing with the challenges that affect Africa and the world economically. Right from the Beijing summit of 2000, as well as the Addis Ababa summit, Beijing summit, Sharm el Sheikh summit, Johannesburg, many areas that affect Africa, such as health sector, such as poverty, such as food shortage, such as unemployment, such as education, disease control, agriculture. These are all areas, industry, commerce, as well as elimination of tariff, industrial support, capacity building. These are all areas of challenge that the Forum on China Africa Forum has been able to face as a challenge and provide solutions to these particular problems. And China has been very supportive under this particular forum in supporting Africa's growth and development. $60 billion, for example, from Johannesburg. Now it has even gone down due to this particular economic turbulences and political, changes on the global landscape. So the opportunities are that it is high time for Africa to securitize the continent, and China is a great opportunity for Africans to actually hold as a great partner in dealing with its security issue.
Do we have new projects or initiatives that were announced at the forum? And how are they expected, or rather, how are they expected to impact economic and infrastructure development in African countries?
The plan of action, for this particular Focac Beijing Summit 2024, President Xi Jinping has outlined 10 major areas of action plan in which China and Africa will actually try to implement. These areas include intercivilizational, experience sharing and mutual learning. There is also promotion of agriculture, health sector, industrial cooperation, development cooperation, intercultural and peoples-to-peoples exchanges, as well as mutual security. So these are some of the areas that this particular year's plan of action is actually going to focus, and this is to be achieved within the next 3 years prior to the next Focac Summit, which will be held in Africa. So intercivilizational experience sharing is respect, to civilizations. No one should think that his own culture, religion, or tradition or civilization is better than any other person. And civilization is not westernization. It's different from westernization because we are different people. Everybody has his own civilization, way of living. So we should actually learn from each other. And there has to be a way for collective security, between China and Africa, which will not affect, negatively any state, but rather this is going to be promoted for the betterment of China and Africa.
Also, how do you see discussions at the forum addressing issues related to sustainability and climate change? And talk to us on what commitments are being made to ensure environmentally friendly cooperation between China and Africa in general.
Issues of sustainability and climate change, as discussed under this particular forum, are hinged on the 280 million US dollars granted to African countries by China in order to sustain and promote Africa's modernization. So when we talk of modernization as being replicated from the veritable civilizational framework of China, has to do with common prosperity, has to do with the continuity of culture, has to do with environmental protection, has to do with peaceful projection, which means that it has to be peaceful, the process of modernization. You do not need to enslave no one. You do not need to colonize no one, just like it happened in the West. So the Chinese modernization is built on the basis of, peaceful coexistence and cooperation among other peoples. So what we see here is that that particular environmental preservation and protection, it is within this particular purview that China is actually giving about $280 million for Africa to modernize. In the process of modernization, China expects this particular process to be sustainable as well as climate friendly, so that the environment shouldn't actually be abused, but a modernization that makes even the climate and environment inclusive.
Thank you, Professor Sheriff Gali, for that insightful and enlightened submissions on Nigeria-Africa ties with China at the just concluded 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, that is Focac. Let's now take a break, and I'll be back in a moment for an update on monkeypox in an interview I had earlier with the president of Nigeria Infectious Diseases Society, NIDS. Do stay tuned.
From the creeks of the Niger Delta to the breathtaking scenery of the plateau, in noonday and nighttime, we set out to bring to you captivating stories that evoke your emotions. For fascinating documentaries and reports on day-to-day issues with expert analysis, tune in to NTA News 24, DSTV Channel 419, GoTV Channel 26, StarTimes Channel 101 and 433, and Free TV Channel 703.
Thanks for holding on with us on NTA News 24. This is Global Update, that program that brings you happenings from around the world that had their rounds in the course of the week. Now, away from the Forum of China and Africa Cooperation, Focac, to health matters, where we hear that the Nigerian Infectious Diseases Society, NIDS, raised concerns over the recent resurgence of monkeypox cases across Nigeria and other parts of Africa. In their latest release, the society highlighted the alarming spread of the viral disease, which has prompted public health concern in both urban and rural communities. NIDS presented detailed observations about the modes of transmission, vulnerability population, and the need for urgent interventions. Now, their recommendations range from enhanced surveillance to vaccination campaigns and public awareness aimed at curbing the spread of the virus and protecting public health. To brief us on this development is Professor Dimie Ogonya, the president of Nigerian Infectious Diseases Society, NIDS. Now, Prof, what's the current situation of Mpox in Nigeria and the global scene?
Yeah, thank you very much. Mpox, that was previously called monkeypox, has been declared a public health emergency of international concern and continental security by both the WHO and the African CDC. What we're having is a situation where the increasing number of countries in Africa are reporting cases of Mpox. Last count, we have 20 countries that have reported Mpox, including about 5 countries that are reporting Mpox for the first time since 2022, and including 4 countries that have Mpox in the past. And these countries include Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, and Burundi. These are countries that are reporting Mpox for the first time. So far, we have observed that there are close to 6,000 cases of Mpox that has been reported in Africa, and close to 22 suspected cases have also been reported. Case fatality, global picture in Africa is still less than 1, but the epicenter for Mpox is in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where close to 4,000 confirmed cases and about 19,000 suspected cases have been reported. Unfortunately, majority of cases in the DRC are not tested in the laboratory, so it's possible they even have more cases that have been reported. For Nigeria, we have over 50 cases of Mpox that have been reported. We are seeing a gradual rise in the number of cases of Mpox being reported since the third week of August. So a number of new cases of Mpox is being reported in Nigeria. So far, we have had close to 20 states and the Federal Capital Territory have reported 1 cases of Mpox. Fortunately, we have not reported any deaths in Nigeria so far. Globally, in other parts of the world, there are cases are also being reported in other parts of the world, but the current challenge we have is in Africa, where the cases are rising significantly.
The NIDS recently released a statement regarding the Mpox outbreak. Can you give us some of the key highlights and what is the NIDS doing for now?
So what we have done is to look at the situation of Mpox in Africa and in Nigeria and produce a statement. The statement essentially indicates that we are concerned about the rising cases of Mpox across the globe, and the fact that Nigeria is significant in the emergence and re-emergence of Mpox. Of course, we know that the 2022 outbreak was attributed to the Nigerian outbreak. We have also commended the federal government through the Federal Ministry of Health, the Nigerian Center of Disease Control, and the various state ministries of health for the work they are doing, and also for establishing an emergency operation center and for the commitment to intensify surveillance for Mpox. We have raised concern that the number of cases of Mpox that we're reporting in Nigeria, in our view, we believe is an underestimate. So we believe there's a significant underestimation of the number of cases of Mpox. So it is our view, based on the studies that have been published and the epidemiological pattern that we are seeing, that there are far more cases than we are detecting. And what this means is that we will need to intensify surveillance to detect more cases, and this is because we want to stop transmission of the disease. Unfortunately, the virus is evolving very fast, and the more transmission occurs, the more new strains emerge. So we have noted that. We have also noted that it is concerning that the shifts in the epidemiological pattern, even with a small number reporting. From 2017, Mpox had been a disease for affecting majorly adults. 70% of cases were adults. But in 2023 to 2024, we are seeing a tendency where children are now getting Mpox, and that's very concerning because children are generally known to have more severe illness when they are exposed to infectious pathogens.
What do you think is the role of vaccination in controlling the Mpox outbreak in Africa? And are there uncertainties about the vaccination?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a good question. It's a complex question. I want to say that science is not fully certain. Science is never 100%. Science evolves. You get facts. Sometimes you challenge facts. And vaccination itself might be the most cost-effective public health intervention, but no vaccine offers 100% protection. And sometimes you don't get the full knowledge about the benefit of a therapeutic or a vaccine until after some time. And that should apply even to these Mpox vaccines we are deployed, because we just started using Mpox vaccines in 2022. And Africa does experience, that's the truth. We don't have experience in the use of these Mpox vaccines to prevent transmission. This will be the first time we are using vaccines to prevent transmission. So there is some uncertainty. The theoretical evidence suggests that they will be beneficial. They have been beneficial in the global north. And so it is important that we also in Africa. But we cannot tell now with certainty to say this is how long it will protect individuals for. So what is important is for us to give it a trial in Africa based on the positive response it has demonstrated in the global north to see whether it will be effective. And we believe theoretically it's going to be effective in the African setting. But being vigilant while we are deploying it is very important, and looking for evidence in the African setting is what we need to do. And also telling the general public that in science there are uncertainties, and the uncertainty here is that we don't know how long it will protect, but it can be beneficial, and indeed it is beneficial.
Thanks a lot, Professor Dimir Ogonya, President, Nigerian Infectious Diseases Society, NIDS. As the bilateral relations between Nigeria and Ghana strengthens, a summit was organized with the theme Rewarding Commitment to Excellence and Consolidating on the Diplomatic Relations between the two nations, was brought to the fore at the 19th Nigeria and China Leadership Summit in Abuja. Now, let's hear more of this with our Foreign Desk correspondent, Suleiman Abdul Wahab.
The Deputy High Commissioner of Ghana to Nigeria, Addison Agbenyega, says Nigeria and Ghana have the same colonies and language affinity, so it is natural that the two countries explore similarities between them and cooperate to improve trade and investments.
So the white man did not show Nigerians Ghana. White man did not show Ghanaians Nigeria. We were trading long before they came. Problem we have is the multiplicity of currencies. So before you can get a Naira, you have to, what do you call it? Change your cedis into this thing, you lose money. You have to change your this into a safer, you lose money to dollars. So we should work towards having one common currency.
When it comes to business, I think our borders are not very friendly to both countries, you understand? When you are moving goods from Ghana to Nigeria, both the Togo border and the Seme border seems to be a challenge, but I think the Togo border is more challenging, especially when you are moving it into Ghana.
Both countries have maintained rules of engagement under the Free Trade Agreement. Convener of the event, Barry Ndu, speaks on the needs for Africans to have one voice, see each other as brothers and sisters in any encounter.
My thinking is that there should be more collaboration between the two governments. There should be more collaboration within the business sector. There should be more business opportunities. There should be more clearance. There should be more visibility. There should be more openness for Ghanaians to do business in Nigeria and for Nigerians also to do business in Ghana, because we are two big countries within the West African continent.
As a proud Nigerian public servant, I'm being recognized not even by the country alone, but even by another country, Ghana Nigerian Association. It's very, very important to me.
That we should remain steadfast in the things we are doing. We can have a better world if we have it in mind to create a better world. It's something that can be done one by one and collectively.
The event highlights warm reception accorded to Nigerians during the period of their studies in Accra, as awards were also presented to some personality.
Thank you there, Abdul Wahab, for that report. And that brings us to the end of this episode of Global Update. I hope you found the package enlightening and informative. Let's do this again, same time, same station on NTA News 24. And I remain Patricia Asamiluba saying bye for now. Do keep safe and think positively always.